Yeah, so this time more on with which planet do you planet? With what planet do you planet? Whatever, right? So, I wanted to say this. Uranus is unpredictable. So in contrast, so let me contrast these two planets just rather quickly. I'm going to be bouncing around more this time, but I'm going to be contrasting right now Uranus and Mars. Because Uranus is unpredictable. So some of the things or the components related to it, you just can't put your finger on it, Pause, because that's kind of crazy, right? But you can't. And in contrast to Mars, Mars is like more in your face. So let's give more descriptions to these planetary movements, right? Mars is taking action in front of your face. Not always, it doesn't have to be in front of the face, but when you think about traditional workplace environments, that's what you should look at. Because, and you could see it in the news these days, people are saying, why aren't people coming back to work? They want you back in the work environment. They feel that you should not be at home working. You should be in the workplace. I'm being sarcastic right now. I know you can hear it in my tone. I'm supposed to be. Because why can't it all exist, right? I mean, it is all existing, but from a talking point, sometimes it's put out there to as where some people who are working from home or working from their studio, however you got your setup set up, that you're supposed to feel guilty about this now. You know what I'm saying? So some of that Mars energy is related to that, because you got to get up, shit, shower, shave, go to the to the office building, excuse me, y'all, and do your 1-2, give them all of your energy, but you got to be in their face. So it's like showmanship. I don't survive in regular environments, work environments, because of showmanship. I'm not patting the boss on the butt to, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not inviting them out for drinks and I'm not doing that, B. I'm not doing that. So I know other people that's like me when it comes to that as well. But that's what a lot of that being in your face. I want to see my employees. You don't got to see me, bro. If the job don't consist of you seeing me, let me do it from where I can do it from. You know what I'm saying? And that really goes for any and everybody, If the job can be done remotely, let it get done remotely, B. Because anything outside of that is power tripping based upon the power distance. Let me get back to Uranus being unpredictable, because I feel like I'm getting preachy and I don't like that feeling. Ugh. Uranus is unpredictable, so let me start with this, right? Videos with more views on YouTube, whatever platform you use, but videos with more views can get less ad revenue than some videos with less views. I wanted to make a point of that because I remember last time I came up with this part 1 of this series, I spoke about how the more speed you use when uploading videos, the more ad revenue you obtain. And that is true. It still rings true. It's just that I wanted to put more clarity on it, because I don't want people thinking that just because you pump a lot of videos up or upload a lot of videos, that's the exact formula for accumulating ad revenue. Like, you can actually see some videos that have less views that have more ad revenue than those that have more views. So I don't want you to just totally focus on view amount. Sometimes it's the context, it's the content of the actual video that draws in a particular type of advertiser that says, yeah, I'd like to place my advertisement on that video because, and you could do your own unique research to find out what those type of things entail. But that just gives you a glimpse into how unpredictable Uranus and Uranus money, digital money, is and can be. Because you just can't gauge it. You can't depend on it. Because you might think, okay, I get a lot of views, I'm going to get a lot of ad money. Yeah, but what about the videos that get less views and they make more ad money? Confusing as fuck, right? You're like, so I should, you get confused on how you should actually do it. Man, listen, the best I could tell you is there is no formula for that shit. Just do that shit. You know? Just express yourself. Just upload. Fuck it, man. You know? Now, Uranus is also unpredictable in a way that shows us we should put our hands on other things, because you can't hedge on it. You can't plan on it based on the work. You know what I mean? It's different from when you go to the corporations and you get your check every week or every 2 weeks, or you know it's going to be there. You know exactly how much it is. Therefore, you could plan ahead as far as you possibly can, right? But with Uranus money, it's unpredictable, right? So I'll give you an example. Just recently, I got a windfall from some passive income that I got set up. I told you I write music for people. I've been doing it for years behind the scenes, ghost writing and stuff like that, writing for TV, writing for film. And so I never know what those checks are going to look like, y'all. I don't ever know what they're going to look like. So in my mind, I just chalk it up as I don't even think about them, because there's no way that I can gauge how much it's going to be anyway. So for those of y'all who know about royalties and shit like that, y'all know a lot of the times there's not going to be a lot of money anyway, unless your record is hot right now. If it's in the moment in that song or the movie or the film, whatever you got your joint placed in, if it's hot at the moment, then yeah, different story. You know what I'm saying? But if it's lingering on, and I got some pieces that have been lingering on since like early 2000s, so once it gets to that point, it really doesn't matter the amount. Well, then again, it kind of does to bring more clarity to the video and how the different planets have impact. But just recently, I got a windfall that blew my mind because it was way more than, like I told you, I don't expect anything because I can't predict it, but it was way more than I would expect. I'm like, yo, where the fuck is this money coming from? And I couldn't even find it when I looked to go find it. I don't know what happened to the report or whatever the case may be, but I couldn't find it. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm not even looking for it, because what the fuck does it matter, right? Just take it, do what you got to do with it, do what you can do with it, and just keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying? But I did notice not too long ago with the last few checks that I got from that type of work. This is why I'm saying put your hands on different things, because you never know. But what I got from that type of work before is I did a song, and I didn't know that it got picked up by the TV and the film people. I didn't even know. So the same thing happened. I'm like, yo, where's this money coming from? I don't, you know what I mean? Then I did the research, and I found out one song was generating all of this wealth, and I'm like, that, and I'm surprised. I'm like, that song? But you never know when it comes to like film and TV. You never know what they like when they hear it, and it's just like, oh, it fits with their vision and shit like that. So, but gratitude, much gratitude for it happening. But this is when you set up passive income and stuff like that, and things like that can occur. It's just an addition. So, some people, they say go for 7 streams of income. I'd second that. I'd say go for it if you can. If you are able to manage your Mars energy in a way that you don't exhaust and you still maintain the vitality of the sun energy, go for it. Go for it. Especially when it gets passive, because it's something that you do one time, makes you money forever. Right? So, I heard somebody recently say that a lot of us are under the impression that we're YouTubers, but we're not. I forgot what. There's somebody on YouTube who said this. I forgot who said it, y'all. And I know I'm kind of paraphrasing, but what we truly are like, we're like people who are using YouTube to our advantage. And I think a lot of us get caught up in thinking that I remember I got called a YouTuber before. I wasn't offended, but it just kind of shocked me, because I'm like, oh shit, I'm a YouTuber, or you see me as a YouTuber. You know what I mean? I took it like, oh, okay, but once I heard this quote from this other person on YouTube, I'm like, yeah, that definitely rings true. That definitely resonates with me, like, because I don't look at YouTube as a job, but I do look at it as a tool, a very useful one too. Cause I get these periods and these moments in my life to where I really want to talk and I really want to discuss what's on my mind, and YouTube is perfect for that. Like there's times throughout my channel to where I'd be uploading 10 times a day, like, you know what I mean? Day after day after day after day, like, because I enjoy it so much. I guess it's just I guess maybe it's a transit or something, I know for sure that I felt good connecting with people on a larger scale. I was losing a lot of friends, a lot of personal friends at the time too. So it was just like, man. And I would say for good reasons, for growth purposes. But nonetheless, you still lose a friend. So there's some type of void there, But it was amazing and magical to be able to connect with total strangers and the thoughts resonate, Each one teach one type shit and all of that going on. So that could be a fantastic feeling for us, So why am I even saying that? I just want to put that out there because I don't think anyone starting off knows exactly what their YouTube journey is going to be or how it's going to excel. But I could tell you this. It's going to eventually lean into product. You're going to start producing some product. I believe that should be a goal of the journey because product still rocks. That I'll save for another time, though. So, but this is why people leave the workforce, because they're able to utilize YouTube as a vehicle or use it to their advantage, or some type of platform, whether it's Instagram and maybe all of them, right? You utilize these platforms to your advantage to where you become the workforce now. You become the corporation. You become the mover of things, the mover of the needle, right? So like I said before, you notice some people want people back in the office and want to make slavery great again. Hey, I'm not like anti the president or anti I'm not anti, because I'm going to make it do whatever the fuck I need to make it do, or whatever I want to make it do. Like, I just have that strong belief, you know what I'm saying? So, but when people publicize their intentions, sometimes you can't help but to chime in on it and be like, damn, I see your angle, dude. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty evident. You know what I mean? Like, don't you got everything in the world? You still, like, you want the strangers around you. You want the people that work for you around you. Like, come on, man. Knock it off. And this is just in general, they feel every industry, everybody should come back into the office buildings. And it's like, come on, man. You want some dinosaur shit, B. How y'all make the technology and then want to, you know what I'm saying? Not expect people to use it the way that is beneficial to them. Like, y'all got to make up y'all mind, you know what I'm saying? If that's it, y'all should have just kept it to yourselves when you made it, but you couldn't do that because you wanted it to have commercial value, because that's what all the money is. Anyway, Venus is exchange of value, which is pervertedly done in your standard corporate office. I say pervertedly because, when you're working together within a corporation, that's a form of Venus being expressed, right? Because this person in that department needs to talk to that person in that department in order to make a project come together, whether it's task-oriented, goal-oriented, or what have you. However, y'all are not paying each other for that exchange of value. One person, or I'm not going to say who the person is, but, the entity is paying you guys separately to do that for them, is pretty much what I'm saying. Their board of directors, their executives, whatever the case may be. And even if it's a public stock, even for the people who invested in them, right? So that's taking place, but in its natural organic state, it wouldn't be done in that particular way. Now, if we did it in our own preference, the workplace would be a much funner place, and it would be a lower turnover rate, higher retention, Now, the joke being played on the population, however, on that working population, is in order to break free from that plantation, you'll need wealth to exchange with your counterparts or of preference. Not necessarily when you consider bartering, and that's what I mean about the natural essence of exchanging of value. But when you live in a monetary-based society like we do, it's only right that you have that monetary value to give to your counterpart when y'all are exchanging value. I pay you for this, you give me that, vice versa, right? But you need to accumulate the wealth by saving what you have left over from your paychecks from the corporations, or taking a loan that you have to pay back to the creditors, or selling crack and being an informant so you don't risk going to jail. It's just, one or the other. Do they even still sell crack? Anyway, this is done by design, y'all. So you go to see the Shark Tanks and the venture capitalists, they're taking 40% off the top in the first 3 to 5 years. And I'm not saying this to discourage anyone. I feel actually very happy speaking about this because it's done by design, and I'm just pointing it out. There's a lot of other people, influencers included, that are pointing these things out in their own unique way. They're all over the podcast, whether some even on mainstream news these days, talking about these things in their own unique way. And that's all that I'm doing. But I'm not discouraging you to work. I'm not discouraging you to get paid. I'm not discouraging you to contract out with people and do what you got to do out here. You know what I mean? If anything, you should be enthused. Still, regardless. I'm just pointing out that it's a design. 2014, right, was the first year that I grossed really high as an entrepreneur. And I would say for an entrepreneur, it's just starting out at that. You know what I mean? Like, it was a blessing for me. So, and I used Mars energy from 6 a.m. to about 10, 11 p.m. every day that whole entire year. But I fucked up my taxes. I learned, though. I ain't mad. Again, I'm not discouraging y'all. I learned the lesson. It's just an example of the design. Because when you're caught up and your Mars energy is expended all of the time, what time do you got to be an accountant, right? Keep it a bean. So if you working, all your Mars energy is spent on that. You get some free time, you might want to go to the movies or something. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, shit, taxes wasn't on my mind. Came to the end of the year, them boys sent me a bill. I was like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Because I didn't yet know about, you got to pay taxes along the way. You owe, nigga. You know what I'm saying? So I taught myself accounting as a result of that year. You know what I mean? And of course, you could take the other route of paying people to do it for you. And, to each his own. That type of trust level, I don't know though, man. So many stories. And I'm not being pessimistic, I'm not. But there's a such thing as blind optimism too, You fork over the position of that to someone else, and you can, the stories. I don't got to go into all of that, Pick your battles. Now, 2020, I did debt financing, and I was amazed at how much employing people using the sun energy to push the Mars energy to obtain Venus money quickly resulted in ways I didn't predict. It's like the employees did better when they were volunteers. Because we made like some R-rated sci-fi comic book and shit. The shit was dope. But once I started paying people, because when we first started, we was just doing it out of fun, like an idea, like, yo, let's make a comic book. Snatched up a few people, you know what I mean? The shit started growing. The shit was looking fantastic. But then when I started paying people, we started doing other stuff and shit like that. There was all kinds of friction, mostly among the men. And I think that has to do directly with the moon or Neptune bars, because when you're in a state of flow, you create and give out of inspiration. But with Venus, the exchange of value comes terms and conditions. Boundaries come into play, negotiations, etc. And what's profound is I would have kept operating how I initially began, right? With the volunteer work, because of the flow. It was like that workforce in that workplace, we was all working remotely too. We could have done that forever. The way that we was having so much fun doing that. But come to find out in New York, you can't be a corporation that has volunteers. Let that sink in for a minute. I want you to let that sink in for a minute. All right? So what that's saying is, you start a corporation, you must get it financed. So to me, what that's saying inadvertently is, you can start your own whatever, right? But I'm going to sink my hooks into what you got going on regardless, because you got to come to me in order to make that engine run. Because when I say me, I mean the banks. You got to get financing for it, right? But naturally, if you coming off the streets, or you just come from a lack of education, you don't have an educational background, you're thinking like, oh, yo, I got people that love me, or I got people that fuck with me, you know what I'm saying? They do this X, Y, and Z for me, bang. I'm going to start my corporation. In the beginning, at least, I'm going to get on my feet because I don't got to pay people, you know? They already doing this shit for me for free. And then you find out the laws, because motherfuckers will send a letter to your place and be like, yo, you can't do that. You know, you start looking up the laws and shit, and you're like, oh shit, I can't have volunteers because I have a corporation. Oh shit. Can't be a corporation that has volunteers. So I told you it's a design. If you can't see that, come on, open up your eyes. That definitely lets you know that it's a design, that people will be alerted. You could call them important people, you could call them nosy people, you could call them predatory people as well. Because in order to get in the game on a corporate level, you got to see them. Because if you could open source it, which is what volunteering sounds like to me, right? But coders do it all of the time, right or wrong. Coders got all types of open source platforms that they utilize, and they create the most profound software on it. So I guess that's a question that I'm asking now. How do they get away with it? Well, probably because they're not monetizing it. They're not commercializing it. But I think eventually the product gets commercialized. No? You know what I'm saying? You know, isn't that the goal? Well, for some of them, it's not. Some of them, they just do it because, again, like we did with the comic book, it's a state of flow. It's something that you love doing, so you don't mind creating for free. We still the kids we used to be, you know. But do you know the amount of creative content you could build if you were able, for a corporation, for your own corporation, for y'all's own corporation, right? Because who's to know that, who's to say you wouldn't make those people shareholders in your corporation? Y'all already are sharing the ideas and the exchange of value with each other, right? But I find a loophole for that, and that's paying on the back end, because I dislike stripping people of their innate capability of performing due to a deadline, or do it because I said so, because I paid you. You know what I mean? Right now. Strange way to be a businessman, definitely, but I'm not crazy. At least I don't think that I am. You know? Because the quality of the work comes out much better when people are in a state of flow. And I just, I can attest to that. I've done both, and I've seen the difference. And I've seen the difference in people as well that I work with when using those two types of different styles. Now, all of these roads most traveled are survival based, but operating in the subconscious and tugging at your nodes is the reason you're really here. You know, so we're just learning as we go. We're getting the information. We're revealing a lot of stuff. And the more you get in tune with the things that you dream to do, the more that you get in tune with what it is that you're here to do, the more you're going to find ways to break away from something that you're not here to do. Or for something that is just, extracting your Mars and Sun energy, because like I said, they know this stuff. It's a design. It's designed this way. Your Mars energy is preoccupied by design to exhaust, right? To exhaust. So I told y'all I'd be all over the place. I don't think I really went in any type of order, and I really didn't try to like point out or make a point. I'm just going to say, Uranus is unpredictable, passive income windfalls, and Mars is in your face right now. That's not going to be the title, but I'll shave it in some type of way that it makes sense. All right, until next time.